number one and the doctor, the old man with the gray hair, they were going to be the original Star Trek series, the Star Trek crew. And I'm not sure why. Maybe they did a test audience and people didn't like them. I don't know. So that pilot never showed. So the series began with the new characters, William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. And in episode 11 of the first season, they decided to use that pilot as a story inside of one of their episodes. Mm-hmm. So episodes 11 and 12 use the original pilot rather than throwing it in the trash. They use that as a story inside the story to develop Spock's character a little bit. You can see in that very first episode, that very first pilot, Spock's behavior was very serious, very mechanical, very formal. Mm-hmm. And a woman was in number two. So in the episodes 11 and 12, what we're going to talk about, they use that pilot as a flashback showing what happened to Spock's former captain before Kirk became his captain. So this episode is about friendship and loyalty of Spock to his former captain, who now has become a vegetable. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the background to the story.
Usually, you're speaking about what episode? About pilot, right?
The pilot is Captain Pike and the woman, number one.
Number one, right. But number zero, actually, right?
Yeah. Well, they call her number one. And if you watched, well, okay. So in the original series, in episode 11 and 12, they decided to show that pilot as a story. So because they had a 1 hour show inside of a 1 hour show, they had to make these episodes a two-part, part one and part two, because it was longer than normal because it had an episode inside of an episode, minus commercials. Yeah.
But I'm not ready to discuss episode 11 today. I'm ready only for pilot. I watched only it, I guess, as other members of our crew, right, Gerard?
Yeah. I read that the actor that performed Captain Pike declined to continue the TV series because it took some time. Since the pilot was recorded and showed to different companies, and it was they found one that broadcasted the TV series. And actually, this actor died very young, in 1969.
Oh, is that right? Okay, I didn't know that.
Shortly after the TV series was finished.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay, so let's explain a bit, right?
Captain Kirk is, I think, it's still alive.
Yeah, well, Kirk's done a lot of movie acting. None of them good, really, but
so at least Spock is alive, right? Still, probably.
Yep. He's
no.
Spock's dead.
Spock is dead.
Okay.
They're not
I read his interview or something recently, but okay, probably was an old one. Okay, so let's start with, I don't know, with some characters or beginning of the story or something. What you like? Sergey, could you start, please? Okay, let me say one more, just for for our class, for our recording. So we are going to discuss Star Trek episode 0 or 1, as you prefer. The name is The Cage, right? The original series.
Yeah, we call that the pilot episode. The first one we call the pilot. That's the one that you get to test drive the series and see if you like it or not.
Yeah, let's ask Sergey. Sergey, do you understand what is the idea of have a pilot series episode before the series?
The idea of pilot episode is a test of idea of potential TV shows between focus groups, and the pilot episode showed among them, or sometimes the pilot episode launched on the TV, and they tested the reaction of witnesses. It's if they have the good reactions, they will make the next episodes.
And a short question. Usually, is it correct name focus group or something? So it's
Yeah.
a group. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So when we test some hypothesis, how it's plural? Hypothesis. When we test some hypothesis, we make some focus group. We ask people from outside, like, grade our work. What do you think about our work? And if it's okay, we will show more, right?
And it's interesting to know that Walt Disney, what they did with Star Wars is they showed 3 different versions of a Star Wars movie to 3 different groups. The first version they showed, the group hated it, so they changed it and showed it to a second group, and they hated it, so they changed it. And that the original guy that did it was the one they liked the most, but they chose the one that people hated the most to go to production just because of social justice. Is that crazy? And it bombed.
Yeah, nice. Okay, Sergey, could you continue, please? Tell us about, I don't know, characters, background, something.
Yeah, the story is about research on the new planet when the captain of Enterprise, Christopher Pike, catch up the signal of problems from this planet, ToS. And he decided to research the problem because they know that the old ship had crashed on this planet. I forgot the name of this crash, but they have the mail with beginner without end. And for understanding, they went to this planet using spatial transplant.
Special
the
engine, right? Special engine.
No,
So
because
they say we have now very fast engines. We can get there in no time. And then they used what was the name? Transponder or something.
Transporter, yeah.
Transporter to get there. So speaking of this signal, is it usually why I heard in some movies it's like Mayday, something. What does it mean? Mayday or
Mayday is a spoken SOS.
SOS. Okay. So when we write SOS. When we spoke, we say Mayday. When we speak.
Correct. And Mayday is only used on a radio. So if you're on a radio and you say Mayday, Mayday, everyone knows you're in big trouble.
Okay.
You have an emergency, life and death.
What does it mean? Why they use Mayday? What does it mean, this phrase, Mayday?
I don't know the origin of it. I'd have to look on the internet.
Yeah, but it's for formal communication, right? For radio. I will not like yell Mayday if I'm in problem, right?
Correct. You'll say help, but on the radio you say Mayday.
Gerard, please.
I read that SOS means save our souls.
Yeah, it's correct.
Save our ship is another meaning. Yeah.
Our submarine.
Yeah, save our submarine. Yeah.
For information, when I went to the army, I was as a radio telegraphist, and we used the alphabet of Morse, and we have the special devices for Yes, it was
and Mayday is the simplest one, right? Three shots, 3 long.
Yeah.
SOS, yeah.
Yes. So if you hear that someone knocking you this way, probably there is a problem.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right. If Ivan's talking about his boss in a bad way and his boss is behind him, you can
It's a signal, yeah. Of
Give him a
maybe.
hint. Yeah.
I heard that sometimes the submarines in the submarines without radio translator took on the metal details.
Mhm.
Yep. Bang on the hull. Yeah. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when submarine like has an accident recently. We had a Russian submarine, Kursk. It sunk in the sea and lost like all the power, and the ship that we use to save them. They said
Uh-huh.
we hear they are banging by on the hull. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's correct.
yeah. But it was a big lie, right, Sergey? After all.
Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
As always in such operations. Yeah, okay.
Big lie.
Okay, so they went to this Talos star system. Gerard, did I interrupt you? Vasanth, please.
No. It's okay.
You wrote T, but I seems like
Yes,
I told before.
yes,
Vasanth?
I saw that on the internet that it says the word Mayday came from a French, and it's Mayday. Come and help me.
Okay, so it's
Wow.
French. Okay.
My dear.
My dear.
My dear. It's funny.
Understandable, yeah. Well, do you understand what we're talking about? Well, yeah, okay, you are muted. So we are talking about signals. If you are in submarine or in the ship and you having a problem and you want to tell people that you have a problem, so you're starting to telegraph, this signal, COS or Mayday, something. Okay, let's continue. So they went to the star system. They teleported to the surface of the system, right?
Yeah.
Of the I don't know, on the planet, right? On the surface of the planet. And what happened? And what was the crew? What was the team which teleported? Vasanth, could you?
Yes, the team went to the planet, the planet, and to explore the previous wreckages and all the possible survivors on the planet, and they found a bunch of old scientists who were making their camp, and they were making their living there. And there was a young lady called Vina. They were all ready to ship them back to their aircraft, but later they found out everybody was an illusion. They just disappeared suddenly, including the beautiful woman, and a couple of aliens appeared from nowhere, and they kidnapped the captain and locked him in a cage, with a transparent glass, and they were about to make some experiment with him.
Yeah, we will tell about it. So, how would you describe this girl, Vina?
Vina's so pretty. Her costume also different from the rest of the old scientists. She seemed like just arrived foreigner, something like that.
Yeah, it was a lady from, fresh lady from a shop, not like
Yeah.
a survivor of I don't know, of 20 or how many years, I don't know, on this planet. Yeah, so it was.
It could be. Initially, I thought that it could be an offspring of the scientists in that planet. After their survival.
Yeah, the first idea. I just recalled that we forgot something important. So is it a word in English? So a feeling that we use, a feeling that we have when we work too much, we are burning out, right? Teacher, burn out.
Yeah,
How
to
we call it?
burn out. Yeah, to burn out.
Gerard, would you like to describe what is this burning out? How we diagnose it? What does it mean? If someone burned out, what does it mean?
When someone is very tired of something.
Yeah, I
I
guess
don't
so.
know.
I guess so. So this, I recalled this because Captain on before they went to the Talos, do you remember he had a dialogue with Doctor, and he said, "I'm so tired to decide who will live, who will who will die, where we go, and all those things, right?" So in my I don't know, my industry now in IT, everyone is burned out, you know. So people work for 2 days and they say, wow, I need my retirement now. I'm burnt out. So please
Yes.
give me 3 days off and everything.
Yeah,
In Spanish and Catalan, we use this expression as well. We are burned.
burned. Okay.
But I mean, it's like an official, you know, like disease now or something. So, as a head of diversity, sometimes I look at people and say, you need 3 days off because you look negative or something.
But burnout is more permanent, though. It's like when you first get a job. You know, when I first got my job in the nuclear industry, you know, I was like, wow, this is all new. This is great. This is neat. This is fun, you know, and you do it. But after, you know, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it's like, oh, nuclear work again. Oh God, you know, you don't want to do it. It's just like boring to you. That's burnout, and you just want to quit. You know, I changed careers one time. I was a database warehouse developer, writing Cognos reports, but it didn't pay much. And I had a problem with a woman boss, so I quit and went back to nuclear.
But I guess it helps a lot when you change your like focus or field or something. I do it like every 2 years, and it helps me a lot. And I guess it creates like full background of something, so I understand in many details different things. But but you cannot be, I guess, deep expert in something if you change it's often. Something.
Right.
Okay. Sergey, were you burnt out on your job a few times?
Yes, one time, but it's no problem. It was not difficult for me because in after in 3 or 4 months I have new job. Or I had new job and new tasks for new additional task, and I worked very hard, and it's very interesting for me.
Well, probably I have some deformation because I talk about this like in sarcastical way because everyone now in IT is burned out. You know, because people are snowflakes nowadays. They cannot work for 5 days straight. So 3 days, then they are burnt out. They need a rest and some cookies and something. So I cannot tolerate this anymore. Okay, so.
I think me and the teacher Lee and Gerard, we are the old school people, and now world is very, very fast, and the people who work in the IT industry, they didn't have time to speed up for the progress, and this situation was depressed them, I think.
There are many theories why they burned out, but I don't believe.
Well, it takes time to become an expert, and young people think they can jump in and in 6 months, you know, get respected as an expert. It takes longer than that to accrue experience and wisdom, and they're not patient.
10,000 hours for expert, I think.
on
Not 5 days.
On my job, we always joking about 20 years old seniors who was burnt out by hard work. Because there are many of them.
Yeah, in America, college graduates, they come out and they want a 6-figure a six-digit figure. They want like $100,000 knowing nothing, and they want to be the CEO. You know, you don't know much. You know, I'm modern. I know stuff. I should be your boss. You know, it's just so arrogant. Holy cow.
Yeah, new wave.
Yeah.
Gerard?
The reason as millennials are used to be spoiled by their parents, so everything was given easily.
Yeah.
Our parents were not so rich and were not so eager to spoil us. So I think that's makes a big difference.
It's very true. I think it's parents, it's society in general, it's abundance, how to say it, that we have everything in our society now. It's all spoiled people. If I went to my grandfather and say, you don't understand nothing, I will tell you what to do. Probably it will end very bad. Vasanth, please.
Yes, I think he's mentioning the instant gratification of these new generations. You know, they get used to that.
Yeah.
Before that, we had the time to wait for something that we want to buy, and we know the value of the thing that we buy because of that waiting and everything. But this generation do not. They don't seem to understand the real value of that.
But I think we cannot blame them, right? If we were in their situation, if you need something, you just raise your hand and you get it. So what will you learn? You know, if you want something, just ask. It's their like philosophy. You know, if you want something, I want more cookies on my kitchen. Get it. I want raise of money on my job. There is.
Oh my god.
I'll give you a real life example. We had a situation where a group of college students, we'll call them interns, were sent to a company to work temporarily to see if they like, you know, that industry, that field. So these are like trainees sent to a company temporarily to do some work as if they were employees to learn a little bit about, you know, their major area. And when they got to work, you know, they had to dress up in a dress code. And one guy was dressed up, but he was wearing tennis shoes, relaxed tennis shoes. And they were wearing leather shoes. And they went to the boss and said, how come he can wear tennis shoes and we can't? You know, we want equal treatment. We demand that we be allowed to wear tennis shoes. This company needs to change. And after a while, the boss finally said, listen, kids, this man has a medical condition and has to wear tennis shoes. I can't tell you what his problem is because that's confidential information, but you punks don't understand that this company is not a democracy and you're all fired. It was crazy. This is real life.
But it was 20 years ago, right? Also.
No, probably 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Still.
What
is tennis shoes? Please spell it.
It's like a sneaker, so it's like a shoes for sport or something.
Okay, tennis
so not
shoes.
Not formal.
Yeah.
so violation of dress code, you know, something. But I can't imagine that now we will have some dress code or something. It's impossible, I guess.
Yeah.
New world. We just have to adjust, right? Have to accept it. I don't know. To love it. Okay, so they captured the captain and put him in some zoo or whatever, how we call it. And for what? Gerard, would you like to explain us?
The inhabitants of this planet, the Talosians, wanted that Captain Pike and Vina to breed so they can repopulate the planet, you know, with people. But they created illusions and showed the image of Vina change in different women to attract him, to lure him, but he didn't fall in the trap. And he discovered that with the strong illusions, the Talosians couldn't control his mind, couldn't deceive him.
They can like send the picture to him. It was like actually like a matrix, right? They can put you in whatever imaginary situation.
And they could punish, the important thing, they could punish Vina or the captain.
Yeah, but punishing is the same, right? They just put your imaginary in a hell or something.
A nightmare,
yeah. Yeah. So, but why they do this? So why
they want that Pike and Vina, have a children to populate the planet.
Yeah, I mean, why in general they like to watch someone else. I don't know, fantasy or read minds. So why they have this zoo or something? Do you remember? Vasanth, maybe you can answer. So they created this zoo with many species of different sorts to have for what?
I think an experiment for their future plans, to inhabit any planet or something, and to use their resource or something.
I guess it's correct. I guess it's correct, but I guess it's only one reason, right? Another reason was that they like lost. They were so intellectual or something, I don't know, correct me, that they lost the whole interest to real action. It was enough for them to contemplate others, like stories or minds or actions. So they just put you in imaginary situation like you're a gladiator, and they read your mind, your emotions, and it's like a entertainment for them. So it's they live your lives, like something like this. Am I correct, Chicholi? Good. So there are two reasons, right? First one, so to entertain them, to actually to have a life. It's their life now. And another reason, because they cannot anymore maintain their own planet, their own lives, and they need like a race of slaves or someone, the race of workers who will, what's the word for this? Support, maintain the planet.
Yeah, this is actually something that could happen to us eventually, in a different way maybe, but this race had become so what happened was a disaster, maybe a nuclear disaster. Something wiped out the surface of the planet, radioactive waste, so they had to go underground to live. So for maybe centuries or thousands of years they lived underground. Because they couldn't do much, they became more mental intellect than physical abilities. So they lost, their bodies became weak, and they couldn't do anything in the real world. They couldn't do anything physical. But their mental powers, they could make anything look like anything. So because they could make their desires kind of come true virtually, they kind of lost passion for life. They burned out. Their passion, their feelings, it all burned out because they could make anything look like anything they wished. And after a while, they couldn't really feel anything. They were just kind of blah inside. So they started collecting zoo specimens for two reasons. They needed some kind of physical workers to replace their weak bodies to do work for them. And they needed some kind of feeling in their mind. They were so dead emotionally, they had to live, they could feel what other people felt, and that made them feel alive for a few moments. So they paired aliens together to try to get them to do things together so they could experience love and anger and joy and those things. So they needed a mental entertainment, and they needed physical assistants or slaves. So that's why they kept collecting specimens. But most of the specimens were too animal-like. They couldn't really use them for those purposes. So when they got the human girl from the crash, the only survivor, they put her back together and kept her alive, but she was all deformed and ugly.
We will get to this, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So they are like developed too much to be comfortable in this real world. And actually there are many parallels, right? Nowadays many young people prefer to sit around the computer, the front of computer, rather than go to, I don't know, to a concert or bar or on the street or something. So we can see that not to the same degree, but at least something.
In the movie Wall-E, The Future of Man, where a bunch of fat people sitting around that can't even stand up out of their bed.
Yeah. Hello, yeah, it's me already. Vova, would you like to say something?
Spock say that aliens' brain was in three uh, three in three bigger.
Three times their mind, right? Three times they three times smarter or something, right? Spock said. Is it right?
I don't remember it, but it might be. They had enlarged mental capacity. Yeah.
And Spock, in fact, he said yes that we cannot compete. It's very hard to compete because they are smarter, and we cannot like trust ourselves. Whatever we see, it can be just was a smoke.
Yeah.
There was a idiom for this, red herring or something like. Is it not the same, right?
Well, the red herring means it leads you to the wrong path. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So kind of, it was an illusion.
But they could make you think you were starting something when you were actually doing a self-destruct sequence.
Yep.
You wouldn't know it. So they could make you do anything, and you would think you were doing something good, but you were actually doing something that was going to destroy the ship.
Yeah. But Pike was a great captain. He he resisted, right, to this. He tried to resist, and he kept his mind and did not allow them to influence him, I would say. Yeah, it was a trick. Sergey, do you remember this trick that Captain Pike used to block their abilities?
Yeah, the aliens can to check the minds when people have the hurry and smile, and when they have the emotions, and the emotions blocked the ability to change the mind.
Yeah, when they have strong, primitive, they say probably, I remember primitive emotions, right?
Animals' emotions.
Yeah, like anger, right, or something. So Pike started to be kind of a berserk, right, to to block the ability to read and then make some surprise. Good idea, I would say. Okay, will this his friends trying to save him, and how it was, Sergey? Do you remember? His friends, I mean, from the ship.
Yes, I understand what's to ask, but I don't remember how they rescue them.
Vasanth, do you remember how they tried to save Captain, and what was the problem?
They were trying to break the elevator door, I think, with some sort of a nuclear reactor or something, a gun, with a gun. But they couldn't do that. For so long, they have kept shooting at the door, but all they could see was just how to say that an iron which is heated for so a long time, the reddish metal door only. Yeah, but nothing else. But actually they did achieve, but they couldn't see that because it was the aliens also caused an illusion that they didn't achieve that.
It was nice acting, right? So they were so surprised. I shoot in this thing and it's still there. How it's possible, right? Bring this big cannon. We will destroy everything there. So boom, boom, nothing happened. What the hell? but I like the second like rescue operation the most because the second idea was like we scanned the planet and we found something under the surface, some what's the name for this? I don't know, some bubble, some empty space under the surface. So let us teleport there and probably aliens in that cavern, right? And Spock said, it's risky. It can be anything. You can teleport us to just a solid material or something. So it was a risky operation. Do you remember this, Vasant?
Yes, I was wondering if they could have such a huge weapon to destroy anything, and then why didn't they shoot at the rocks around the door? They could have easily reached where it leads to.
Good point. The rock was weak, but the door was strong.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's from special material made by aliens. Who knows? Okay, so they tried to jump inside this cavern to the base of aliens, but as far as I remember, only women got there, right? And it was another trap, right? And so aliens were like solid in their intention to have an offspring. So they say, okay, you don't like what's her name, Vina? Okay, there is two more. Please choose. Right? And speaking about this experiments, or how we call this kind of matrix show, I don't know what's his name for them, but the kind of matrix show. Gerard, could you describe them? What happened to Captain when they tried to test him in different situations? So what kind of situation it was?
You mean the moment that they
created
changed the Vina, no? The one was a green woman from Orion, I think. A slave from
Orion slave
woman. Different. Another one in the country, I think. It was, I think, 4 different situations. But, they didn't get Pike. And also, when the two women from the prize came, the Talosians told him that they were attracted to him. But
and probably
he didn't say anything. He was very a gentleman.
But probably it was true, right? They just read their minds and said, she is shy, but she likes you, so go forward, right? So, Bola, please. Bola, you're muted. Tell us.
I don't know. I don't want.
Okay. You raised your hand. I just thought you you want to say something. It's okay. So, but at the first moment, I didn't understand how they created this like scenes with this barbarian and castle, and then with two horses. But then I started to recall, and it was actually a part of dialogue that Pike had with Doctor. He described him the situation. He said, "I had two horses. I live in country house. I want to go there and spend my life." So it was like read from them. And this situation with Orion slave, green woman, right? It was from his mind as well. So they kind of torture him by his own fears, right?
His own thoughts. Yeah, they actually got those images from his mind, from his memories. He had been in those situations recently, and some of his people had died in the battles. That's why he was kind of burned out. He was seeing his friends and his crew get killed in these different encounters, and they pulled these events from his mind, so he's kind of reliving the events. for their entertainment.
And I remember they were threatening him like, we know there is something much worse in your mind, so don't let us to, don't make us to use this on you.
Yeah.
It's interesting. What it was, Sergey? What do you think? What it was?
I'm
So-
sorry.
Yeah. Aliens said to Pike, we know that in your mind is something worse that we used on you. So what do you think? What it could be?
I don't understand. Sorry.
Okay, so he just has another. It was not in the movie. We did not see this. We have not seen this. But they said that in the mind of Captain there is like a memory of something much worse than just killing his people. So probably it's a skeleton in the drawer. Right?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
We have an expression, psychosomatic.
Mhm.
Psycho means mind, and somatic means your body. And what that means is your mind can actually make your body feel things that your body doesn't really feel. It can make you feel pain or joy, even though your body's not really experiencing those things. An example is if someone has an arm cut off due to an injury, they will often say, my right hand hurts. My hand hurts. My hand hurts. Oh, my hand hurts. But they have no hand. The mind is tricking the body because it's expecting a hand that's not there, and it's trying to communicate with it, and it can't. So it's kind of trying to stimulate the nerves to get some feedback, and it's causing what we call a phantom pain, a ghost pain.
Nice.
So they're using his mind to make his body feel pain or pleasure for their entertainment and to control him.
Yep. Vasanth?
Yes, it reminds me of an experiment called with a fake hand. A guy who experiments with the public. He places a shield or something cover, and he wants him to place his real hand, and there was another fake hand on the other side, and he has to look at it, and if he hits the fake hand with a hammer, he would feel the sudden how to say that, the shock. So I think this might be related to this.
There are many experiments like that. I read once, this another experiment when you show a guy this, I forgot the name, iron stick that we use to move coal in the stove. How we call it? Iron stick.
A spatula.
Probably spatula, but it's made of Wright iron, right? So you just heat it up very much, so it's red metal.
Branding iron.
Yeah. So you heat it up until it's getting red, and then you touch someone's back. So a guy can see that it's the same iron, but you touch with another one, with a cold one, and many people. And many people has a burn on their skin because, but you touch them with a cold thing, so you can try with your friends.
Wow.
So we can.
Think,
Sergey?
I think in Russian school we have the similar examples everywhere, because I wanted to tell about this example. Yeah.
Yeah, but I read this about I never tried it, but I read about this about a real experiment. So please check if you want.
If I thought someone was going to put a red hot iron on my neck, I wouldn't hold still. I'd be running.
Gerard?
An easier example, tickles. You put your fingers like about to do the tickles in the sides, and they feel the tickles before you touch them.
Yeah. You actually, so yeah, you create this feeling in your mind. You create it first, and then you get it. Yeah, so it's possible. Yeah, mind is very powerful, right, for us. Okay, so what? So Captain still resisted. He refused women, all three of them, and managed to capture one alien. Right? Vasanth, could you continue? So what happened after?
Yes, and he threatened um, or warned the alien that if he uses one more illusion, then he would break his neck. So the alien surrendered. Then he brought the alien along with three young ladies out of the cage, and that's where there was a conversation between them, and the alien said that uh, the human it was also a part of the experiment, how they how the human feel and react to the extreme situation, uh, and the rest of the alien members came, and they said that they have read or they have gone through the libraries of uh, the spaceship, and they transmitted the data to the alien's head, and it assimilated the data and finally understood that the humans are too dangerous to for them to keep, because our history and our culture has a lot of hatred uh, in terms of captivity. So mm, they said that you are too violent for our experiment.
Probably it's the case, but I remember that it was not only violent. It was about like impossibility to live in a cage or something. That's why we have the cage, right? They say we learned your history, and we found out that whenever someone tries to to jail you, nothing good happen, right? So we are not going to try. Far go away, right? the main reason.
And in fact, in real life, some animals live great out in the wild, but when you put them in a cage, they don't reproduce, they become listless, and they die. Some animals can't live in captivity on the planet.
Yeah, but actually, I would argue with these aliens. I think that humankind, we are fine with living, in jailed circumstances. We just built a modern jails. We just build modern jails. We call them debt. We call them financial institutes, and we live in slavery without any problem.
Another thing you have to understand about Star Trek is it's made in America by Americans with American beliefs of individual freedom.
Yep.
If China had produced this series or Russia, it would be a
different.
totally different,
I see. Gerard?
How, the movie Matrix? So that this illusion is a sort of cage. And one of the guys, was a traitor, was happy to live in illusion better than the reality.
Yeah.
So a nice cage, a nice illusion could be better than the reality.
And that's why the whole focus of the movie was Spock when he learned that Pike had been in an accident and was a vegetable who couldn't do anything but blink a light. He arranged this elaborate mutiny scheme to take Pike back so he could live in that virtual world and be human again, and be happy again. So he did all this just to let Pike live the virtual world that was better than his reality. Good point, Gerard.
The story you're talking about, we don't have it in this episode.
Okay. You only saw that story. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So in this episode, there's total happy end.
Okay.
Gerard?
Yeah, if you go on Amazon Prime or maybe Netflix, if you watch, the original series, go to season 1.
Mm-hmm.
and watch episodes 11 and 12. And what they've done in that two-part series, they've taken this whole story that you watched and made it a flashback inside of another story, and it makes more sense when you watch it that way. Yeah.
So it
Okay.
explains Spock behavior and Spock kind of feelings and everything, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good, interesting. All right. So you saw just the story. All right.
Yeah. So only the story. Yeah. Okay, Gerard, what we missed? So let's go to the happy end. Let's say.
And another curious thing, I started watching Star Trek because it's available in Spain in Netflix. And I see that in many episodes there is present, the sexual attraction, tricks related to sexual attraction. Is that a constant, Teacher Lee?
Yes. Well, Kirk always, he's the American male, the man's hero. All the women are infatuated with him and he's attracted to them. And there's often a romance between Kirk and the women. Yeah.
That's like James Bond.
And one of his crew members is infatuated with him, and she's beautiful. She's a blonde, short skirt, nice legs. She's attracted to him, but she keeps it a secret. But she's in love with him too. So yeah, he's a womanizer, if you will. Yeah.
it was legal back then, so nothing wrong.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was part of his character, his reputation.
Yeah. Okay, so let's finish with the story. What happened? How they survived? Who remembers? Gerard, would you like to describe how they escaped? What was trick?
Because the Talosians realized that humans didn't like slavery, and this woman Vina had her real face and appearance was very ugly because she was ill injured, and they didn't have an example to construct a nice face then.
Yeah,
so now they give her this illusion that she's beautiful, and they gave her the illusion that Pike was his head. So at the end of the episode, they go inside the cavern together like a couple.
Yeah.
Happy
actually, I like this part of the story. So they thought how to make her life like more I don't know, more happy, right? And they give her this Pike, illusional Pike. So it's interesting.
And they are not resentful with humans because they didn't do what they wanted to, what they expected to. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's good for Pike, good for us, good for humankind, right? we are not eligible for this kind of a job, so let's go home. Yeah, and she decided to stay, right? She is old, she is in a bad physical condition. As she said, everything works, but they did not have a guide. She said in my translation. Actually, it was a problem for me to find the proper source of the movie. I don't know. We don't have it in Russian Netflix, so it's kind of a problem. So don't know why. And I watched it in different translations.
But if you ever watch the original series, there's 3 seasons. There are some excellent stories that are relevant even today. Star Trek did a lot of they touched on a lot of social issues back then that it was okay to do that. But today, if you were to show those, people would be so upset, so offended. But, some of the episodes have Greek gods in them. Some of them are medieval witch settings. They go to all kind of strange planets and meet all kind of powerful beings. You'd enjoy the 3 seasons if you watch all there's like 79 episodes.
I guess we will choose some episodes, some good episodes for the future discussions.
One's very good. It's called The Guardian of Forever. That's an excellent episode. That was the favorite of everyone.
Okay, let's put this. Okay, so we have a few questions on our Padlet.
I'll mention one more thing that I think you might have missed.
Please.
At one point when they're outside and they're trying to be released, number two, the woman takes her gun and she does something with it, right?
Mhm.
What she did, she set it on overload. And normally it goes boom, and it kills them all. So when she did that, the Talosian realized that she was going to kill all of them just to prevent being taken captive. And that's when, he realized, oh, you're not suited for our cage. We can't use you. You'll end up killing us all just to be free.
Actually, when I watched this scene for the first time, I saw that they are like they pretending they are going to blast, or they like tricking aliens, because there was kind of a dialogue. They watched on each other, Pike and number two. So I saw they decided to think a wrong idea to influence aliens, but something like this.
It wouldn't work if they weren't angry or hating, so they would read their mind. It was a real situation. They were willing to kill themselves
Yeah.
to be released. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a good idea. I found that it's a good that episode has the whole idea, beginning and the end of it, not just the story, the half of the story, So I found it good. Okay, let's answer a few questions from our Padlet. Vova, can I ask you? So, do you understand
Yes.
what is illusion?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and the question is, would you like to live in such an illusion forever? Whatever you want. Just a lot of toys. I don't know, dogs, something. But it's only illusion. Would you like to live there or not?
No.
Oh, why? Why not? You will have everything you want.
Because it's not real.
How do you know? It's a tricky question, right? There is no answer. So, we will watch another movie one day, Matrix, and it will be the same idea. But actually, when I watched Matrix and I tried to put myself in the shoes of that guy, a traitor, I thought, well, who knows? Maybe I will choose the same. If the reality is so bad that I cannot even taste a good food, maybe put me in my illusion. I will continue there.
Yeah, it's like in Terminator, the future in Terminator. Mankind's living like animals. The world's destroyed. They're underground eating rats, living in a dirty place. Aliens are hunting you and killing you. Would you rather live like that in real life, or lay down and go into a fantasy world where you're living in a paradise? I can see the attraction.
I probably would choose the illusion in that case. If I had no chances in reality, if I understand that reality is always like 10 times worse, so what's the point?
Yeah.
Vasanth, do you agree with me?
Yes, I would choose an illusion and live in utopia rather than in this dystopia.
Yeah. So you see, the quick experiment shows that Talosians will know about us, right? We would like to. Gerard, maybe you has a different opinion about illusions.
I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Maybe I would do what I think was right.
Yeah, it's a tricky question. Yeah, for sure. Vasanth?
Yeah, but it's a good concept that even if you're aging and you cannot move a limb, but you can just lay down and be young in your illusion, and you can do whatever, just like Vina. That's a good concept, and I would prefer that.
But it's kind of happening now. So in old time, in ancient times, if you're a caveman, right? If you cannot run fast, you will not eat something good anymore, right? Your life is over. You will not hunt a good animal anymore, right? So your way now it's something, I don't know, some vegetables or something. Nowadays you can be whatever you can. You just call delivery, you get it, right? So we kind of moving to not illusion, but it's changing. It's not demanding anymore to us. I guess.
Remember Avatar? The hero was a cripple in a wheelchair. And when they kind of transferred his mind into this alien form, he could stand up, jump, run, and he went, wow, I can feel my legs. I can run, I can jump. Wow, this is great. And he didn't want to go back into his real world because he was a crippled and useless.
Yeah, I think we can see that in real life already. So nowadays, it's not so important how you physically strong, right? It's important how you adapted to society, what is your job, what occupation, and so on. Okay, so can you see my slides?
Yep.
Okay. Very nice alien. I would say it's typical alien. And teacher Lee wrote in our chat a beautiful explanation why aliens usually in old movies usually looks like human but with a green skin, right? Because it's a limitation of technology of that time. You cannot build, something, I don't know, liquid Terminator or something.
Yep.
And it's nice, the cage. Okay, Vova, let's start with you. What is on this picture? What can you see?
The group. Captain Pike, Spock, number 1, and
Yeah, probably there was no name. I don't remember. So we call him Helm, right? And he's the
Yes.
one who manages the ship, who steers the ship. Okay, let me help you a bit. So there are a few monitors, and this group, we call this group a crew, or team or crew in the ship. So when they have like uniforms, they all wear the same clothes. So it's uniform. Like, am I right, teacher, that uniform is a universal something, universal form or not?
Yeah, uniform means a similar look, identical look.
Yeah, so something like this. On the desk, I can see some buttons, and this looks very primitive for modern times. So I don't think you can manage the whole like enterprise ship with 10 or 12 buttons. Too hard.
Yeah.
That's all, I guess, right? Okay, let's go for the. Okay, Gerard, would you? What is happening? What in this scene?
Can see the old doctor was giving us something to Pike. I don't remember what. Do you remember?
A drink.
Yeah.
Probably vodka or bourbon. Martini, probably martini.
Okay, yes, alcohol, yes.
He said, you're putting ice in the medicine.
Yeah, I like this doctor. Actually, he was sarcastic, and he said that people tell a bartender more than they tell to a doctor. Probably it's true.
Especially because they drink. They are drunk.
Okay, not too much details there. Let's find something else. Okay, what about this one, Gerard? How would you describe it?
These old guys were supposed to be the survivors, but they weren't illusions from the Talosians. So they were transported to the Enterprise, but they disappeared then. They had, the Vina was actually the one only survivor.
And I like how Spock analyzes the situation after. He said, we have seen exactly what we wanted to see. So we wanted to see like a proper human creatures, intelligent, like noble. So they don't eat each other. They They have honor. They're scientists. So and we watched it. So I like it, this like analytical observation or something. Okay, and we lost Vasanth, unfortunately. Okay, let's finish on our own. Vova, could you please describe this picture?
Aliens shoot shoot Captain Pike.
Yeah, they use some kind of weapon on him. We don't know. Probably it's a gas. You know, some gases you breathe them and you lost your mind. You just off.
Chloroform is what we use in real life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they always put over the face, right?
Yeah. So, would you describe a bit these aliens? How they look like? Are they similar to human?
Similar. They're not similar.
They're not similar. What is the difference?
They had.
Mm-hmm. They had a very different. What they have? We can see their brain, right? Actually, we can see something not pleasant. I don't know what's the word for this.
Veins.
Yeah, some veins, and they are kind of moving. We can see some liquids there, some kind of movement. And it seems that they have no emotions to me, right? They always like.
But we forgot something important.
Tell us.
They communicate with telepathy, not speaking.
Yeah, right.
How Spock.
His cage, right? Cage of Captain Pike. Okay, let's skip it. Okay, to this, something like this. Gerard,
That looks kind of Greek Orthodox.
I cannot tell. Probably, but not sure. Gerard, would you like to describe this one? Do you know the story?
Yeah, this castle. Okay, the castle and the giant. Is that the story?
Probably. He
So,
told something.
Okay, that's what something happened to Pike. A similar story where he killed a monster. And he doesn't want to kill first the monster because he knows it's an illusion, but at the end, because he sees the woman, the princess in peril, he says and kills the monster.
Yeah. Well, do you like this moon?
Moon.
Big moon.
How golf ball.
Like a
Ball for
like
golf.
a ball for game for golf, right? But
Yeah.
it's much bigger, I would say, than this ball. Much bigger. It's huge one, right? Probably, I guess it's impossible to have a moon like this because of gravitation. Probably you will, once a day you will fly.
Yeah, if you had an ocean, the tide would probably go up 100 feet every time you turned around towards it, Oh, man.
Yeah, should be so. Okay, this battle. Okay, another one. Whoa, what is this?
It's very.
It's a big gun, right? It's
Yes.
a cannon, and because it's used like light, it doesn't use actually, bullets or something. Or, I don't know. It doesn't speed something from it, but it use beam, right? It's use light. That's why we call it laser or phaser, I guess. Phaser, it's from science fiction, right?
Yeah, Star Trek invented phaser because it sounded like laser, and everybody knew what laser was.
Yeah, and they tried to melt the door, but it was hard. Yeah. Okay. Whoa, do you remember this one?
Aliens.
The verb is punish, right? They tried to punish him.
Punish him.
Mhm. They put him in a hell. Actually, we imagine the hell like a place with a boiling something, boiling metal, or I don't know. Is it metal usually in the hell?
We
I don't
just
know.
call it a fiery inferno. It's hot and fire and flame everywhere.
Yeah, and he's suffering here. Okay, I guess we lost all the participants, so let's let's flick through the pictures just to see if we missed something. So these two horses from his country. Whoa, do you remember?
Yes.
How we call a party like this? How we call it?
Picnic.
Picnic, right? When we go outside and sit on the grass and eat something.
Yes.
Picnic. And it's a belly dance, right? Actually,
Kind of, yeah.
kind of. And this one looks like Greek or something, architecture and the way of having party to me.
Yeah, kind of a Roman Greek look, yeah.
Okay, three women in his moment of capturing the alien and the real look of Vina. Yeah. Probably she's unhappy, right? She's much happy in this look. Yeah, humpback. Well, do you know humpback? It's when you have a like a curve on your back. So because
Yes.
you are like I don't know, have a defect. Yeah, Notre Dame. Good. And it's the last one. So the happy end of the story. Okay, good, very good. So I guess that's the end for today. But we will definitely return to Star Trek. I guess, right? Do you think we should like make it in consecutive order, or we will just choose random one?
They are independent of each other, so you don't need to watch them in any particular order.
Okay. And you
Uh,
wrote one which is particularly good, right?
The Guardian of Forever. That one has to do with World War II. And what happened, and it involves time travel, where they inadvertently changed the future.
Wow.
So they got to go back in time to fix it. It's a very interesting story. You'll enjoy that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Butterfly
And
effect.
this looks like a time traveling, butterfly effect, everything together.
Yeah.
Okay. We will.
And the time machine is an ancient technology that's existed for eons and eons alone on this planet.
Very good.
And it's cool. I like it. That's my favorite episode. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it one time. Okay. Thank you very much for support us. Thank you very much for coming. See you next week. And bye.